This is a 24-year-old motor mount. Um, it's not really got much play. It's kind of stiff, but it's already out. Motor mounts do go bad. Now is literally the time to replace them because I do not want to change a motor mount on this truck with a motor in it. And there's a lot of controversy. Not controversy, but sometimes it can be hard to find good, reliable information. So here's what I wanted to bring you. These motor mounts can be a pain in the butt. And why, you ask? Well, I'll show you. How do we get these motor mounts off without removing the lower control arm? And that is what I'm going to show you. Yep, there's the bottom two. That top one in that triangle over to the right, the farthest hole, that's the top. And that was a pain to get to. So I'm going to show you what tools you have to use in order to get these off and change them. Whew. Okay. All right, here we have our motor mounts. 24 years old, brand new. These motor mounts were $8 a piece from Rock Auto. They are made to factory spec, just like all other factory spec parts. If you're going with that, this motor mount should not wear out in a year or 2 years or 5 years. This one's not even worn out after 24 years, but I don't know that it's got much life left. See those cracks? So, new. It's the way to go. $8, a little bit of grease, a little bit of dirt. Here's what I used. The nut and the bolt are both 15 millimeters, so you're gonna need a 15 millimeter socket. Don't matter if it's a deep well or not. On some type of impact or screw gun. A flashlight because it's dark up in there. For the bottom two, I used my breaker bar with a little 3/8 adapter and a little shallow 15 millimeter socket. That was more than enough to grab a hold of that nut. There's not much bolt that sticks through it. And lastly, I had to buy a extra long, this is next to a breaker bar. That's my arm, just to give you some kind of depth perception. This is a big wrench. This is a ratcheting 15 and 13 millimeter wrench. It's a Tecton. It's a Amazon wrench. I got it on Prime here in 2 days. I may only ever use this wrench for this job. I don't know. Being that it was a 15, I had to go in and snatch it up because 15s and 13s are used a lot on these things. So, this wrench was $30. You can get it on Prime, so you don't have to pay for shipping if you got Prime. And this is going to be what's going to save the day for that top bolt hole. A lot of people have this stuff on hand. This is a breaker bar that I've had for 6 years now. I don't even remember where I got it. That is a Pittsburgh socket or a adapter and a Craftsman socket. Everybody's got this little stuff laying around if you've been working on stuff. This right here was more than enough to get these two bolts right here. However, I probably could have used a shallow 15 millimeter half-inch drive socket, but my dumb self didn't even look for one. I just kind of want to find one to see what the difference would be, and I'll do that in a minute, just to kind of see what we could do. So this may get you through the whole job. Might be worth a shot to try if you've got a half-inch drive 15 millimeter short well socket. If it doesn't work, then we know we're going to have to buy the $30 wrench. And this is going to be what saves us on that top nut coming off, because you got to have just enough flex to get over the nut. If you hit it wrong, the wrench is going to do that, and you're going to have to pull it all back out and start again. So I was laying under there with the flashlight laying on my face, this in one hand and the drill reaching around that cross member up to reach this, and you know, it was just a mess. But I finally, you know, wiggled this onto the nut a little bit. I could see the tip coming through the other side here. I just barely hit my trigger on my drill to spin that thing a little bit so that it locks this thing in, and then I was just able to break it, bust it free. Drops right out. You've already got that bend on it, so the nut's sitting in there. You drop it right out. Here's our 15mm short 1/2" drive socket. It's the shortest one I got, and that might actually work. It wasn't a whole lot that I needed to clear. It's just that extra length wouldn't get around it. So let's try this socket and see what happens. And there you have it. New motor mount is on. Time to do this side. This process, without doing the video, probably only took like 20 minutes. Once you gather your tools, it's not going to take you but maybe 15 minutes to figure this thing out. Well, there you have it. New motor mounts installed. About an hour's worth of back and forth, finding tools and whatnot, but job's done. And I don't know if the passenger side's like smaller or harder to get into than the driver's side, or if that's any bigger. It looks like the driver's side might be a touch bigger, but the breaker bar with the 1/2" drive, short 15mm socket worked on all 3 bolts on this side. So maybe I was going at it wrong on this side. That might be all the tools you need. You might not have to pay $30 for a wrench. Just that right there will reach up in there and get those nuts, and then reach around the other side of the cross member with your hand. Use the drill to get the bolt off the nut, and there you have it. Tools needed. Tools possibly needed. $30. Tecton, extra long length ratchet wrench, Amazon. There you have it. All right, guys, in conclusion, you do not in fact need the $30 Amazon wrench to do this job. If you have a breaker bar and a short enough 15mm socket, you can reach up into that hole and grab the top nuts on both sides of the engine cradle.